Have you ever found yourself wondering why some people in their 70s or even 80s still seem to move with purpose, laugh with their whole body, and have a sparkle in their eye that makes you forget how many candles are on their cake? Maybe it's someone from your church group, or a neighbor who's always pruning roses or walking their little dog twice a day no matter the weather. You can't help but ask yourself, what are they doing differently? Here's something many folks never hear out loud. Aging isn't just about good genes or dumb luck. Yes, those help, but the real magic is often in the daily choices, the mindset, and the little things that add up quietly over the years. In this video, we're going to talk about 10 powerful reasons why some seniors live longer, healthier, and more joyfully than their peers, and how you can start putting those same things to work in your life starting today. You won't hear complicated medical talk here, just simple, heartfelt truths, drawn from real people, good research, and time-tested wisdom that's helped so many stay strong, sharp, and fulfilled well into their golden years. If that sounds like the kind of journey you want to be on, stick with me till the end. I'll walk with you through each of these reasons like a friend who's seen both the good days and the hard ones, and who knows that it's never too late to live well. And before we begin, let me say thank you. Thank you for being here, for spending your time with us, and for being part of this community of wise elders who are choosing to live with intention. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel and tap the little bell so you won't miss any of the life-changing health and lifestyle insights we've got coming your way. Every like and share helps us reach more people who need encouragement, and if there's a topic you'd love us to explore next, drop it in the comments below. We read everyone. All right. Let's start with something that may surprise you. Many of the seniors who outlive their peers don't necessarily have the lowest blood pressure or the cleanest diet. What they do have, consistently, is a sense of purpose. I know it sounds simple, but feeling like you matter, that someone needs you, or that there's something worth waking up for each day, that's more powerful than most pills you'll find in a medicine cabinet. It could be a grandchild who needs your stories, a garden that depends on your care, or a volunteer job at the library where your smile brightens someone's whole afternoon. Purpose doesn't need applause, it just needs meaning. And science agrees. Studies have shown again and again that seniors with a daily sense of purpose live longer, get sick less, and even sleep better. Isn't that something? Now let's talk about another quiet superpower of long-lived seniors. They tend to stay connected. Not with dozens of people, but with a few they truly care about. Whether it's sharing a coffee on the porch, calling an old friend, or chatting with the lady at the market about her cat. These small moments protect the heart in more ways than one. Loneliness, as it turns out, is more harmful than smoking. And yet, connection can be as simple as reaching out or saying yes when someone invites you in. There's still so much more to uncover. Because once we understand that purpose and connection are more than just nice ideas, they are survival tools, we start to see how much power we still hold in shaping our years ahead. And speaking of power, let's talk about something many people overlook until it's gone: mobility. Seniors who outlive their peers almost always find ways to keep moving, not just with grand workouts or gym memberships, but with consistent daily motion. Think of a man who still sweeps his steps each morning, or a woman who walks to the mailbox with intention instead of groaning through the effort. Movement tells the body it's still needed, and when the body feels needed, it responds. We're not talking about running marathons here. We're talking about the kind of gentle, purposeful motion that reminds your joints they still bend, your muscles they still lift, and your lungs they still love fresh air. Maybe it's dancing in the living room to music from your youth, or stretching while the coffee brews, or choosing to take the long way to the kitchen just because you can. Every little step is a message to your body. We're still in this together. Now, here's another thing the long-lived often have in common, and it may surprise you. They learn how to bounce back. That doesn't mean they never fall. It means they don't stay down. Whether it's a health scare, a financial loss, or the deep ache of losing someone close, they find a way to keep showing up. They don't pretend the pain isn't there. They just believe, somehow, that life is still worth showing up for. This kind of resilience isn't something you're born with. It's built over time. Sometimes with faith, sometimes with laughter, often with tears, but always with the decision not to let the bad days be the end of the story. If you've been through something heavy lately, please know you're not alone. And please don't underestimate how strong you've already been to make it this far. Another thing the long livers seem to have in common: they know how to nourish themselves without turning food into a battlefield. They aren't obsessed with kale or the newest diet trend. They just eat in a way that makes them feel good, not sluggish. Many of them follow a rhythm that's close to nature. Simple meals, not too much sugar, a little treat now and then without guilt. If your plate still has color on it, if you still sit down to meals with some sense of joy or gratitude, you're already doing more than most. And if you've been feeling off or low on energy lately, try adding something fresh and whole to your next meal. Even one small change, an apple instead of a pastry, a glass of water before your coffee, can begin to reset how your body responds. You deserve food that fuels the life you still have to live. And before we move on, I want to say something that may be the most important of all. It's subtle, but powerful. When they look in the mirror and see wrinkles, they don't say, "I look old," they say, "I've lived." When they forget a name, they don't say, "I'm getting senile." They say, "Everyone forgets sometimes." They don't beat themselves up, they build themselves up. Your body hears everything your mind says. If you want to live longer, start with kindness toward yourself. Speak the words you'd use for a beloved friend, not a critic. Because self-respect isn't vanity, it's the first step toward health. Let's keep going. There's more we can learn from those who live long and live well. Because the journey doesn't end when we reach 60 or 70 or even 90, it just shifts. And one of the most powerful shifts we can make is choosing how we handle stress. Long-lived seniors have something in common here too. They've learned not to carry every weight on their shoulders. Now that doesn't mean they don't feel stress. Life never stops throwing curveballs. But they tend to have an inner anchor, a way to breathe through the hard moments, to let go of what can't be controlled, and to laugh at life's little absurdities. You might find them in the garden when things get tough, or sitting quietly on a bench, letting the breeze do what it does. Sometimes they talk it out with a friend, sometimes they pray, and sometimes they simply close their eyes and remember this too shall pass. If there's a storm in your life right now, I want you to pause, place your hand over your heart, and remember that calmer days do come. Protecting your peace might not look dramatic. It might just be 5 quiet minutes with your tea instead of watching the news. But that one act can slow the aging that stress so quickly accelerates. And what about curiosity? That spark so many people let fade after retirement. Seniors who outlive their peers often keep asking questions, keep learning, keep growing. They read, explore, watch documentaries, try new recipes, or even learn to text their grandkids with emojis. They refuse to let the world shrink around them. In fact, they stretch it. There's something beautiful about staying curious. It keeps the brain flexible. It gives you a reason to get up and try again. Whether it's signing up for a pottery class, asking a neighbor about their garden, or simply reading a book you wouldn't have touched 10 years ago, that hunger for knowledge, it feeds your spirit, and it shows your brain you're not done yet. Now let's talk about rest. Not laziness, not sleeping half the day away, but the kind of intentional, high-quality rest that restores you. Seniors who outlive their peers often take their sleep seriously. They don't just collapse in front of the TV. They prepare for sleep with a routine, a soft light, a comfortable setting, maybe a calming cup of tea. They understand that rest isn't wasted time. It's when the body repairs, the brain resets, and the soul exhales. If you've been struggling with sleep, you're not alone. But even a few gentle habits, shutting off screens earlier, reading something soothing, or keeping a regular bedtime, can make a big difference. You deserve rest that helps you rise. And here's something else we don't always think about: generosity. The elders who seem to live longest are often the ones who give the most. Not just money or material things, but time, attention, encouragement. They check in on neighbors, they volunteer, they smile at strangers. And in doing so, they create a sense of purpose that medicine can't bottle. Giving keeps your heart open. It reminds you that you matter to others. And often, the more you give, the more life gives back. If you're wondering what you have left to offer, let me remind you, your wisdom, your story, your kindness, your presence. These are treasures. Don't underestimate their power. Let's continue. There are still a few deeply powerful truths left to share from those who live long, full, and meaningful lives. Because the truth is, age isn't a finish line, it's a doorway. And some walk through it with strength and purpose, while others tiptoe, unsure. But the ones who go the furthest, they often have something very specific in common. They stay socially connected. We were never meant to age in isolation. And yet, too many people over 60 find themselves drifting. Friends move away, family gets busy, and the phone grows quiet. But those who keep living fully, they find ways to stay connected. They join walking groups or attend church. They call an old friend once a week, or they strike up conversations with someone new at the park. It doesn't have to be big. It just has to be real. Because being seen, heard, and valued, that's not just good for the soul. It literally strengthens your immune system and reduces your risk of cognitive decline. A 5-minute laugh with a friend can do more for your health than a bottle of supplements. So if there's someone you've been meaning to reach out to, now is the time. Don't wait. Connection adds years to your life, and life to your years. And you know what else the long-living folks often hold on to? A sense of responsibility. That might sound heavy at first, but it's actually something that gives people energy and focus. Whether it's caring for a pet, watering their plants, showing up for a neighbor, or even keeping a little journal of daily reflections, they stay accountable to something beyond themselves. When you feel needed, you feel alive. You wake up with a why, and that can be more powerful than any medication. If you're feeling aimless, try giving yourself a tiny responsibility each morning, something that adds meaning to your day. Maybe it's writing one encouraging message to someone, or learning one new thing, or simply standing up and stretching because your body deserves it. Purpose doesn't have to be grand, it just has to be yours. Now let's speak about gratitude. Not the polite thank you at the grocery store, but the quiet habit of noticing the good, even when life doesn't go as planned. Many of the elders who live longer than their peers share this simple ritual. They name what they're thankful for. Every day, the warm sun on their face, the way their tea smells in the morning, the grandchild's drawing on the fridge. Gratitude is like a lens. It changes how you see the world. It lifts your spirits. It softens anxiety. And over time, it reshapes the brain itself to be more resilient, more hopeful. If you've never tried this, I invite you to start tonight. Before you sleep, whisper 3 things you're grateful for. They don't have to be big, just honest. The act alone creates space for peace to settle in your heart. And when peace lives inside us, aging feels less like loss and more like wisdom ripening. There's still one more piece I want to share with you. One that ties all of these together into something simple, beautiful, and deeply life-affirming. And that piece, the one that so many long-living elders share quietly but firmly, is this: they stay curious. Not the kind of curiosity that comes from trivia or crosswords, though those are wonderful too. I mean the deep, gentle kind. The kind that makes you look out the window and wonder what kind of bird that is. The kind that makes you ask your grandchild why they love that song so much. The kind that keeps your heart open to learning, to listening, to exploring. Even if your steps are slower or your hearing isn't what it used to be. Curiosity keeps the soul young. It says, there's still more for me here, still more to discover. And that sense of wonder, that quiet fire in the chest, it fights off bitterness. It keeps the mind sharp. It brings light to your days even when the world outside feels dim. So, how do you nurture that kind of curiosity? You don't need fancy tools or a university degree. You just need to ask one more question than you did yesterday. Try a new spice in your soup. Listen to music from a decade you never danced through. Watch the way a flower opens in the morning light. Ask someone their story, and really listen. When you do that, You remind your brain and your heart that life isn't over. It's still unfolding. Now, I know we've covered a lot today, not with heavy rules or strict routines, but with little truths, gentle choices that ripple through our bodies, our minds, our spirits. The seniors who outlive their peers don't always have more money or perfect genes. They just live with intention. They move with care. They laugh. They learn. They connect. They stay open to meaning every single day. And the beautiful part? You can start right now. This very moment, you can breathe a little deeper. You can stretch a little longer. You can put down a soda and pick up the phone. You can notice one tiny joy, one brave thought, one new reason to keep growing. So let me say thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here with me, for giving yourself this time, this reflection. It means more than you know. And if you found this video helpful or hopeful in any way, I'd be so grateful if you gave it a like, shared it with someone you care about, and hit subscribe to stay part of our wise and welcoming community. Let me know in the comments, what's one thing you're already doing to live a longer, fuller life? Or what's one habit you're ready to start tomorrow? Remember, age is not the end. It's an invitation to become gentler, wiser, stronger, more fully yourself than ever before. Here's to living with purpose, wonder, and joy, no matter the number of candles on your cake.